Continue to see rain across our viewing area. Pretty messy right around the Triangle area right now. I'll show you why we're still seeing rain and why we could continue to see it into the weekend.
And a community in Wilson. It is mourning, Wilson County that is, the loss of their neighbor. We are taking you there and we are showing you the aftermath of a tornado hitting a middle school in Lucama, where you are looking live this morning.
And the bar is set even higher for hurdlers now that Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni broke her own world record in Paris. That and a look at the big events you'll want to pay attention to coming up today. Thank you for joining us here on your Friday morning. We made it. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lovegood. We did make it.
We
Good
did.
For us. All right, let's go over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner right now, because we've made it, but we're not quite done yet with the weather we're seeing, because today is the WRAL Weather Alert Day.
It is. We have rain falling. It's coming down pretty heavily in the Triangle area right now. The things that we're watching for today are going to be some continued flooding on some of the rivers, and that will last through the weekend. We'll go over that. But also this morning, there still may be some creeks in the eastern part of the viewing area that are still over roads, and some of the roads may be closed. We have some trees down too, so just be especially careful traveling around this morning, as there still may be some cleanup. Some heavier rain from Fuquay to Holly Springs up through Raleigh, and even up the I-85 corridor through Henderson. No thunder and lightning with this. This is not going to bring any severe wind with it, but boy, you know, we add any rainfall to what we saw yesterday, and there could be some minor flooding with that. We continue to have a flood watch in our eastern counties through the rest of the day today. Futurecast shows that band of rain continuing to slide eastward as we get into the afternoon, and we may even see a little peak of sunshine by the end of the day. But that front's going to stall over us over the weekend and help to bring us a chance of some afternoon and evening thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday. Our chance for rain starts to drop off a little bit for us this afternoon, back down to a 30% chance. But take a look. I mean, it's coming down here on Fayetteville Street and Raleigh. Really messy conditions out there this morning. Temperatures are in the mid-70s and the dew point 72. So we continue to have this very tropical, very moisture-laden atmosphere that front is going to interact with. We'll still have some gusty winds too. We're gusting 17 in Roxborough and 21 in South Hill, and that may knock down another tree or two, but it won't be as widespread as we saw yesterday. It's going to be a warm and sticky afternoon with temperatures in the mid-80s. It'd be nice to get rid of some of this humidity. I'll show you what our chances are of that coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. All that rain leading to quite a bit of wet road conditions around the Triangle and surrounding communities this morning. We do have the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads this morning. Kelsey Coffey is taking a closer look at conditions. And Kelsey, you've been showing us some major roads this morning. Where are you right now in Wake County, and what are you seeing?
Ken, right now we are on the belt line, and this is probably the most rain that we've seen so far this morning. I'll give you a live look at road conditions right now, so you may even be able to hear some of that rain. We'll also give you a look now at the westbound lane. We got a little bit of water there on the lens. Let's try to get that off there for you. But our meteorologist team says that we had a record in Raleigh yesterday, more than 4 inches of rain. So this rain that's out right now is something that's going to potentially impact your visibility. So you want to be sure to give yourself a little bit of extra time for your morning routine so that you can really take your time and slow down on your morning commute. Ken, what else can you tell folks before they head out the door?
And one of the other things, a couple of things that they should be mindful of because of the rain coming down, maybe ponding on the road because the asphalt is dark. You may not see that, so be careful out there. Also debris because of all the rain and wind that we had yesterday. So again, as Kelsey just said, leave the house a little sooner than you usually do this morning so you can get to your work and your appointments on time. Also, we're reporting what reported as a serious crash on Lewisburg Road northbound near Fox Road. It's heading toward Lewisburg. We're not seeing any particular delays in that area on Lewisburg Road, but just look for some police activity in that neck of the woods. We're also following a crash on Pool Road eastbound near I-440 in the westbound lanes. Again, no delays that we're seeing right now, but watch for that police activity if you just happen to be in that area of Wake County this morning. We are monitoring a disabled vehicle as well. It's a minor incident, but we thought you'd need to know about it in Zebulon Road in southbound near Lewisburg Road. Again, not seeing anything showing up there, but again, leave the house a little bit sooner than expected because it's going to be a messy morning commute.
Definitely give yourself a little more time. Thank you, Ken. At least 2 deaths in North Carolina are being blamed on Debbie. Just before 11 last night, we learned a woman in Rockingham County died. A man also died in Wilson County. This storm brought 27 tornado warnings to central North Carolina, and 5 confirmed tornadoes so far touched down yesterday. This morning at 11 o'clock, Governor Roy Cooper and emergency management officials will provide an update on recovery efforts. You can watch that live at 11 o'clock on Fox 50 and WRAL News Plus.
And Wake County schools will be on a 2-hour delay today. And new this morning, Durham joins the list of school systems that are closed. They made that announcement around 11:45 last night. So here is a look at the full map of school changes today. Many others are closed or delayed, and a few are going asynchronous. You can find a full list on WRAL.com and scroll to the bottom of your screen.
This morning, neighbors in Wilson County are mourning the loss of their neighbor. They also have to continue cleaning up their own properties. Drone video shows a home that collapsed in a tornado there, and a man who was in that home was killed. A nearby middle school also was damaged pretty badly as well. WRAL's Laura Levine is in Wilson County this morning. Laura, I mean, you've been there in this community yesterday, today. This is just so devastating for them.
It is, Kristen. You know what? Crews aren't wasting any time. They're back out here on the scene. If you look down the road this way on Wiggins Mill Road, you can see several crews out here surveying damage. They're picking up some of that debris. They're checking out the down power line. So another active and busy day as expected here in Wilson County. Taking a look at the school. I mean, the devastation, the destruction all poured out here in front of the school. You see the roof ripped off. Giving you a closer look now from this video that we captured yesterday. We do know the 6th and 7th grade halls were impacted the most, and now school leaders are trying to figure out the next steps. Just down the road, Lloyd Road here, we know a man identified by family members as 60-year-old Brian Barnes tragically died after the first floor of his home collapsed while he was inside sleeping. We had the opportunity to speak with several neighbors in this area who also had some damage. They described the moment that they had to take cover.
It wasn't anything normal, nothing I ever been through, but yeah, you can tell something was going on. It started rattling, and all of a sudden, it was just a bunch of pressure in the house, and windows busting, and you could just hear stuff moving all over the place.
And throughout the course of the day, of course, we expect to continue to see more crews arrive here, not in just this area, but on Lloyd Road as well, where those homes had some damage, kind of checking out the area. We continue to see debris on the roads as well, so the cleanup process will take quite some time. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Wilson County.
New this morning, we're learning more about another death in North Carolina related to Debbie. A fallen tree caused by Debbie's high winds killed a woman to our west in Rockingham County. Authorities there say a 78-year-old woman died when a tree fell on her mobile home. This happened in Brown Summit, that's northeast of Greensboro. Officials say the woman was in the home's bathroom when the tree fell. We are working to learn her name.
And Debbie may be moving out of our area, but we are still seeing the effects of it. Nick Perlin was in the WRAL breaking news tracker on Old Greensboro Road in Chapel Hill this morning. That's where a tree was blocking the road.
Drivers traveling this way down Old Greensboro Road in Chapel Hill had no choice but to turn around because there's a large tree blocking both lanes of traffic here due to all the rain that we continue to see. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker, and you can see just how large this tree is as it blocks both lanes of traffic. And if you take a look right here, you can even see it's clipping a power line. Now we have seen down trees and power outage issues throughout the state because of Debbie, and here in Orange County, those issues are continuing because of all the rain we continue to see. This morning, around 8,000 customers in Orange County were without power. And we continue to see downed trees across our area as well, including this tree you're looking at right now on Old Greensboro Road. Now, our team of meteorologists will continue to track these storms as they move through our area. And of course, we'll continue to update you on any damage we're seeing because of these storms, as well as any power outages. In Chapel Hill, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
This morning, Cary police are investigating shots fired at this apartment building on Dahlia Place. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker showing a crime scene taped off and police dogs searching that area. Officers say someone at the complex was injured, but are not able to say if they were shot. We'll bring you updates as our questions about what happened there are answered.
The Paris Olympics Games are nearly over. Team USA has more chances today, though, to increase its medal count, and that includes a diver from UNC who is competing in a final this morning. Here are some of the big events that we're tracking for you on WRAL. UNC's Aranza Vasquez-Montano will compete in the 3-meter springboard final. That is at 9 o'clock this morning in about 50 minutes. Track and field coverage starts at 10:15, including heats in the women's heptathlon. At 11:30, the USA plays Australia in the women's basketball semifinals, and there is more track and field. That's at 1:30, including the finals of the men's and women's 4x100. We'll have synchronized swimming at 4 o'clock. And then at 4:30, it's the finals of women's beach volleyball, Brazil against Canada. You can catch replays of all the big events on prime time in Paris starting at 8 o'clock tonight.
Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone won gold and broke her own world record during the 400-meter hurdle race yesterday. The 25-year-old has now set the bar for that world record 6 times. She beat her teammate Anna Cockerell by 1.5 seconds.
Debbie brought dangerous storm conditions to people in Greene County. We're going to hear from neighbors prepared to take shelter in a ditch as possible as the tornado ripped through their community.
And homes built to last, but not by hand. How builders in Texas use 3D printing to create an entire neighborhood that's nearly move-in ready.
And I'm tracking more rain across our viewing area, especially right here in the Triangle. Some of that heavy at times, but of course we're not looking at the potential for severe storms that we did yesterday. Still some flooding is possible, and of course likely on our rivers. I'll show you what to expect through the weekend coming up.
So I had them pull up this live camera of Dix Park. You can see the rain coming down pretty hard there right now. And the cloud coverage is clear as well as you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Yes, I know yesterday was pretty bad, folks, but we are not done just yet. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has been tracking what is happening right now in our area. Still some rain there, Elizabeth.
Ooh, it is pouring out there in Raleigh. We take a live look here. I'm not looking at thunder and lightning here. It's just that we have a very moisture-laden air mass, and we actually have a front now that's coming through. So a little different scenario than what we saw yesterday, but still some very heavy rain out there. So just be careful. You're going to want to watch out for flooding in any part of the viewing area. We may have a tree down. Nick Perlin was just talking about a tree down there in Chapel Hill. More trees could fall this afternoon. Isolated, it wouldn't be widespread, but if it's blocking the road that you're trying to head down, there also may be some places where we still have some flooded roads. And of course, we're watching the rivers. And of course, we'll talk about what that's going to look like as we get through the weekend coming up. But from west of Anger right up through Raleigh, headed up into Franklin County and Vance County, we're looking at this band of just some heavy rain. Now, the remnants of Debbie itself are moving on up into Virginia and very quickly to New York. Matter of fact, by 2 o'clock this afternoon, the center of circulation is up in New York. But so what we're dealing with is just some lingering tropical moisture with a cold front interacting with it, and it is coming down in Raleigh. This is a live look at Fayetteville Street right now. Not a lot of people out. Here comes our front, and that will continue to push eastward during the day, pushing a lot of the rain closer to the coast. But then it stalls here and sort of makes some waves over the weekend with a chance of afternoon and evening storms both Saturday and Sunday. You can see as we get past lunchtime and into the late afternoon and evening, looking at your future cast is showing the chance of a little bit of sunshine breaking out. That would be nice to see, a little break. But then again, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms for us on Saturday and into Sunday as well. With all the rain we saw yesterday, which was anywhere from 5 to almost 8 inches, we do have some river flooding to watch. And the elevated risk there in Lewisburg, where we're looking at the potential for some businesses to flood. It's moderate for Rocky Mount and Tarboro. At that level, River Road goes underwater. It's minor flooding in Clayton, but major flooding for Smithfield and Goldsboro. Goldsboro, on the end of the runway there, Seymour Johnson can go underwater. And then we move all the way back to the Cape Fear River. So we're looking at the Tar of the Neuse and the Cape Fear, and down in Fayetteville, we get some significant but low-lying flooding down around some of the farms. So nothing major right in town. Still a little blustery out there. Some winds gusting up to 21 in South Hill, steady winds at about 10 to 15. So not as windy as it was, and that's definitely good news. 74 is our temperature, our dew point 72, so a very, very sticky air mass. And it stays tropical through Saturday, and then it falls a little bit, but not that much. Monday and Tuesday, we're still looking at some muggy conditions. Temperatures begin to drop a little bit on Monday and Tuesday, so that's definitely nice to see, but we're still going to be dealing with some pretty sticky sticky conditions. Coming up, we're going to take a closer look at those wind speeds that we'll see through the rest of the day, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:17, these wet road conditions, and I tell you, the rain is really coming down in Wake County and surrounding communities right now. We do have the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads this morning. Kelsey Coffey and her photographer, Mark Alexa, driving around this morning, showing us some of those major roadways. Right now, they're in Wake County on I-40. You can see the windshield wiper going this morning back and forth. Traffic has definitely picked up this morning. We do want to alert you that there is some serious ponding on many of these roadways, so definitely leave the house a little bit earlier than usual if you're heading out this morning, because it is absolutely pouring outside. Also, watch for some debris that may have fallen as a result of all the rain and wind that we got yesterday. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, elsewhere, we're seeing a couple of incidents to report this morning. Nothing that's going to make you late for anything, but we do want to let you know that it's happening. This is a crash that's reported on Six Forks Road in the southbound lane near Anderson Drive. We're not seeing any major delays in that area of Six Forks Road, but just look for some police activity and be mindful that you should navigate that area a little bit slower than usual to give law enforcement an opportunity to work those crash scenes slowly and safely, by the way. This is a crash that's reported on Pool Road in the eastbound lane near the Beltline, not causing any problems in that particular area. But again, watch for that ponding out on the roadway and be careful this morning.
Please do. Thank you, Ken. The Lumber River continues to rise this morning. Robeson County is already experiencing flooding on several streets, forcing closures. Emergency management says crews have rescue boats on standby if flooding reaches extreme levels. The Lumberton levee system has been reinforced to handle this rain.
A possible tornado hit Greene County, damaging several homes and farms and destroying a mobile home. Greene County Emergency Management responded, saying all of this happened around 2:30 in the morning yesterday. One home was destroyed, 4 others were damaged. Neighbors say this was a close call.
It literally came right by our house. Big tree snapped, fell in the yard. Me and my grandma had the cushions off the porch to throw down in the tunnel in the ditch because it got really close, and we stay in a mobile home, so we had that ready, and it kind of just missed the house, went straight by.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt. And it's been an intense year full of devastation and recovery for people in Lahaina after the deadly wildfires there. Yesterday marked 1 year since the fire destroyed their town. Chanley Painter takes a closer look at the tributes and unique therapy opportunities on the island.
Heartache and grief still have a tight hold on the West Maui town of Lahaina, 1 year after a devastating wildfire tore through the historic Hawaiian community, killing more than 100 people and destroying thousands of structures. Prayers rang out as dozens of surfers and boaters paddled into the Pacific Ocean Thursday. The tribute, which is a ritual in Hawaii to honor loved ones, paid respects to the 102 lives lost in the blaze.
The one thing I thought I could always count on was my hometown. We don't have a hometown.
Further inland, debris removal continues. Still, many residential lots that have already been cleared remain vacant. More folks are seeking permits to start the rebuilding process and hopefully put an end to their displaced stays in hotels and temporary shelters.
Still getting people every single day that have not sought therapy.
Mental health advocates, meanwhile, say the significant trauma survivors have been through is vital to work past.
7 of my family lost everything, and I lost an uncle in it.
Some have turned to horse therapy at this quiet Maui ranch. The process involves survivors walking, petting, and brushing the trusty steeds. The horses also provide a calming presence as therapists guide people through other types of counseling.
Like a big teddy bear. I mean, he doesn't even move. He just lets you lean on him.
Animals are so wonderful. That was Chanley Painter reporting. Data shows tourism still has not recovered from the fire, a critical industry for the island.
There weren't a lot of highlights for the Carolina Panthers in their first preseason game, as many of their starters sat out. We did, though, get a chance to see former UNC quarterback Drake Bay in his debut with the New England Patriots. He played one series before taking the rest of the night off. The Patriots won this game 17-3. The Panthers' next preseason game will be next Saturday. That's when they host the New York Jets at Bank of America Stadium.
A new neighborhood in Texas is almost complete, and every home is 3D printed. The printing company Icon calls it the world's largest 3D printed community. A 5-ton printer rolls the homes out wall by wall using concrete powder, water, and sand. Only the walls are printed. The rest is traditionally installed. But builders say the homes are heat and tornado resistant, but they may have some Wi-Fi connectivity problems. The homes range in price from around $450,000 to $600,000.
And that price point is why some people criticize that production right now. There are some big competitions happening in Paris today, including the 4x100 meter race. Why Team USA is replacing a key member of that relay. Noah Lyles, that story next.
And we'll take you back to the devastation in Wilson County, where the community is mourning after one man died when a tornado ripped through his home.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We went through a lot yesterday with Tropical Storm Debbie. That's finally sort of pushed out of our area, but we're still seeing the rain. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, we're seeing some pretty hard rain in Raleigh right now.
Yeah, behind you there, that Dix Park camera, it is coming down. And here's a live look at the radar. And you can see from Wake County up the I-85 corridor, that's where the bulk of the rain is right now. Most of this is because a cold front is swinging through. That front will push to the coast and push most of the rain eastward by the end of the day. But that front will swing back and stall over the weekend, bringing us another chance for some scattered storms, especially in our southern counties. But again, coming down from Raleigh up toward Rollsville, fairly heavy. No thunderstorms with this, just some fairly heavy rain. That chance does start to go down in just a few hours and stays a little lower through the afternoon. But take a look at Fayetteville Street. Boy, it's definitely coming down and a little breezy too. We're going to see some gusts, at least this morning, up to around 20 miles per hour. You still need to watch out for some trees down and the potential for some water on the roads this morning. Of course, we're watching the rivers as well. Coming up on Fox 50, we're going to talk about when some of the rivers around the area will crest. Ken?
We're talking about this rain coming down, so let's head right outside this morning. There's a live look at I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. The westbound lanes are moving toward us this morning. One of the things we really want to encourage you this morning to really look out for is ponding on the road. Meteorologist Amy Wilman just came up and made her way into from Cary into the station. She says there is ponding all over the triangle and surrounding communities, so definitely be mindful of that if you're getting ready to head out. Also be mindful of debris that might be in the roadway this morning because of all the wind and rain that we got yesterday. But we'll have another update for you at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
Thanks, Ken. Next on Fox 50, we'll hear from a Franklin County woman who took cover after she watched tornado debris.
And the rain keeps on coming down. We're seeing some steady to heavy rain in the Triangle area right now. I'll show you what's causing that now and why it can continue into the weekend.
A community in mourning trying to rebuild after a tornado touchdown here in Wilson County. We're live from one of the buildings, the school here that was damaged from that tornado as crews are back here at the scene.
And track star Noah Lyles is out of the Olympics. That's because he tested positive for COVID. Now Team USA needs to fill his spot in the 4x100 relay ahead of the race today. We'll get more to the Olympic action in just a little bit. We want to first greet you and thank you for joining us here on WRAL News at Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. It is Friday. We made it. We had a pretty crazy day weather-wise yesterday. Tropical Storm Debbie moving in our area. Dozens of alerts. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, you had such a busy day today. Little bit calmer today, although we're still seeing the rain.
Ooh, much calmer today. We had 28 tornado warnings yesterday, and of course 5 official confirmed tornadoes. Today is going to be much quieter than that, but we are dealing with messy conditions out there this morning. Some steady to heavy rain here in Wake County, stretching on up toward Lewisburg and Henderson right now. This is potentially going to cause issues on the roads just for an hour or so, with just a lot of water on the roads and some ponding. We are still looking at some roads closed in eastern North Carolina due to the rain that we saw yesterday, and the rivers are flooding as well. well. We'll go over each of those. A lot of the towns along our biggest rivers are flooding, and we'll check that out through the weekend coming up. Still a flood watch in our eastern counties through the rest of the day today. We'll continue to see the rain pushing eastward toward the coast. It's going to get pushed along by a cold front, and by late afternoon, evening, we might even see just a little bit of sunshine. Then tomorrow, that front's going to stall and kind of move back across the area, bringing us a chance of just some afternoon and evening storms for Saturday and Sunday. As we get into the afternoon, our chance for rain drops down to around 30%, but it is coming down out there right now. This is a live look at Fayetteville Street, where the rain is fairly heavy right now. Temperature 74, dew point 72. This is still a very, very heavy tropical feeling air mass, and it's still a little breezy. We have some winds gusting up to 22, which just reminds me we do still have some trees down, and maybe a couple of those still falling this afternoon with the rain and some breezy conditions. It's going to be a warm afternoon with our temperatures in the mid 80s. And Ken, we'll take a look at when or if we're going to get rid of some of this mugginess anytime soon.
We hope so. And 8:32, Elizabeth, the rain is really coming down this morning, as you can see from the wet road conditions that we're experiencing right now. We do have the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads this morning. Kelsey Coffey has been looking at Wake County and all the major roads. You're on your way to the Cary area of the Beltline and I-40. What are you seeing right now?
Ken, right now we're seeing steady to heavy rain like Elizabeth had just mentioned earlier. So we'll give you a live look now at conditions. Right now we're on our way to 40 and Harrison. We're hearing of some reports of flooding, so we're going to be on our way there to check that out. Be sure to take your time as you're driving, because the rain that's happening right now could impact your visibility. Ken, what else can you tell folks about their morning commute?
Yeah, the visibility, we're getting reports of a lot of ponding out on many of our major roadways, so definitely give yourself some extra time. Leave the house a little bit sooner than usual this morning because of all the ponding that we're seeing, and because so much rain is falling right now, you're guaranteed to see some ponding somewhere along your morning commute, so keep that in mind. We're monitoring a serious crash on Falls of Neuse Road in the southbound lane near Spring Forest Road. We're not seeing any major delays in that area in terms of our traffic sensors, but just watch for some police activity in that area. Similarly, on Six Forks Road in the southbound lane near Anderson Drive, not going to affect your morning commute at all, but it's important that you know this just in case you're driving by Anderson Drive and you see some police activity. This crash just cleared this morning. We've been monitoring it at Pool Road and New Hope Road. Nothing to worry about this morning in terms of that particular intersection. And elsewhere on the Triangle and surrounding communities, 885 in Durham, flowing nicely in both directions, as well as 87 in north and southbound lanes, free from delays this morning.
Thank you, Ken. New this morning, we know at least 2 deaths in North Carolina are blamed on Tropical Storm Debbie. Just before 11 o'clock, we've learned a woman in Rockingham County died when a tree fell on her home. A man in Wilson County also died. The storm brought 27 tornado warnings to central North Carolina. 5 confirmed tornadoes so far touched down yesterday. Governor Roy Cooper will give an update on the recovery effort at 11 o'clock this morning. You can watch that on Fox 50 and WRAL News Plus.
New this morning, Durham Public Schools are closed today. They made that announcement just before 11:45 last night. Wake County schools will be on a 2-hour delay today. Let's get you a look at the full map of school changes today. Some are closed, some are delayed, and a few are going asynchronous. You can find an entire list at WRAL.com and scroll to the bottom of your screen to get that.
And a community in Wilson is mourning the loss of their neighbor who died when a tornado destroyed his home. Drone video shows the home in Lucama that collapsed during the tornado. A nearby middle school also badly damaged. WRAL's Laura Levine is in Wilson County this morning. Laura, the cleanup effort is just beginning and the community really hurting this morning.
Hey, Michelle, good morning. Yes, here in Lucama, we continue to see crews coming down this road. This is Wiggins Mill Road, and you can see behind me the several utility trucks as well as law enforcement officers out here. They're picking up a lot of debris. They're checking out the down power lines right in front of Springfield Middle School, where you can just see the devastation and destruction. Giving you a better look now from this video we captured yesterday. We now know that the 6th and 7th grade halls were impacted the most, and now school leaders are trying to figure out the next steps. Just down the road, Lloyd Road had significant damage as well. A man identified by family as 60-year-old Brian Barnes tragically died after the first floor of his home collapsed while he was asleep. the second floor, that is. We spoke with neighbors who also had significant damage to their homes. They described the moment they had to take cover.
We were all asleep, and my wife comes in. She had got an alert on her phone or something or another, and she was telling us to get into the bathroom, bring a blanket and a pillow, and we grabbed a mattress.
Yeah, so you could just imagine what some of the residents had to go through that experience here yesterday. As far as Springfield Middle School here behind me, we know that the 475 students who attend this school were set to begin school very soon in just a few weeks. It's still unclear how the district will accommodate these students. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Wilson County.
New this morning, we are learning more about another death in North Carolina related to Debbie. A fallen tree caused by Debbie's high winds killed a woman to our west in Rockingham County. Authorities there say a 78-year-old woman died when the tree fell on her mobile home. This happened in Brown Summit, just northeast of Greensboro, if you're familiar. Investigators say the woman was in the home's bathroom when the tree fell, and we are working to learn who that person was.
8 of the 27 tornado warnings Debbie produced Thursday were in Franklin County. Video shared by a WRAL viewer shows one of 2 confirmed tornadoes that hit there. The tornadoes touched down a few hours apart from each other, just a short distance apart. And the tornadoes were quick, but they left a lot of damage. Michelle Riley showed us the damage one of them did to her fence. It also took down nearby trees and destroyed a trailer. Thankfully, no one was living in it. Riley says she watched debris swirl outside her home.
I laid on the bathroom floor on my stomach and I was bracing myself because I didn't know if anything was going to come down on top of me or not.
That's so scary. The first tornado hit a few miles away earlier in the day. It knocked over trees and snapped a power pole. There were no reported injuries in either tornado. And as we're continuing to track the impacts of Debbie, including the risk of flooding, be sure to download the WRAL News app and make sure you have notifications turned on so you'll get weather alerts for your location.
This morning, Cary police are investigating shots fired at this apartment building. This is on Dahlia Place. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows police dogs searching the area. You see one right there on your screen. Investigators say someone was injured, but they're not able to say if that person was actually shot in this case. We're going to bring you updates as our questions about what happened here are answered.
Team USA has more chances today to increase its medal count. That includes a diver from UNC who's competing in a final this morning. UNC's Aranza Vasquez Montano will have a chance for gold in the 3-meter springboard final. That's happening at 9 o'clock on WRAL. At 11:30, the USA plays Australia in the women's basketball semifinals. And we'll have a track and field coverage for you again at 1:30, including the finals of the men's and women's 4x100. And then at 4:30, it's the finals of women's beach volleyball, Brazil against Canada. You can catch replays of all the big events on primetime in Paris starting at 8 o'clock tonight. And Team USA track and field star Noah Lyles says his Paris Olympics are over. He announced that he has COVID after placing third in yesterday's 200-meter race. Lyles collapsed to the ground after he finished that race and was taken off the track in a wheelchair. He was set to compete in a relay race, but he will now sit that one out.
Michelle, the U.S. men's basketball team will face home team France tomorrow in hopes of bringing home a gold medal. They beat Serbia yesterday, but it was close. They came back in the fourth quarter for the win there. Good for them. Here's a look at where the medal count stands this morning. Team USA is now in triple digits. That's right. Our 103 medals include 30 golds. I'm talking like I won one myself, right? China has 74 medals. They have also 30 golds. Host country France has won 55 medals there. Great Britain and Australia round out the top 5.
Today, we'll learn who will be UNC Chapel Hill's new chancellor. UNC System President Peter Hans and the Board of Governors will meet this morning at 10 o'clock to elect the new chancellor. Former UNC Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz left for Michigan State in January. Lee Roberts is the school's interim chancellor. The original goal was to name a new leader by the end of the year. That timeline has been sped up by more than 4 months.
A third person is now in custody after a foiled terror attack planned for a Taylor Swift concert. What we're learning about the new suspect arrested in Austria.
And Tropical Storm Debbie is moving away from us, but we're still seeing its impacts. You are looking live at a very rainy North Hills right now. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look at this weekend's forecast when we come back. Welcome back. Just coming up on 8:45 on your Friday morning as we take a live look over a rainy Wake Forest. A lot of us saw a lot of damage and destruction, a lot of rain and flooding from Debbie yesterday. Debbie is slowly moving out, but we're still seeing the rain, especially here in Raleigh. Behind me, Elizabeth, Dix Park, it's really coming down.
Yeah, we have this band of rain that is ahead of a cold front that's pushing across the area. So we've moved from forecasting a tropical system to just forecasting a regular cold front. But of course, Debbie left behind a lot of tropical moisture, so it feels very heavy. It's, dew points are way up into the 70s. So lots of moisture to work with as this front moves through, and it's coming down from Anger up through Raleigh, about to become heavier there across parts Franklin County and up the I-85 corridor. So we're going to be dealing with this for at least a few more hours before we start to see that front pulling in some slightly drier air this afternoon. Boy, what a day it was yesterday. You can see all these red boxes here. This is where all the tornado warnings were, 27 of them issued by our National Weather Service office in Raleigh, and all along one of the rain bands from Debbie as it was coming on shore. 5 tornadoes, and the Weather Service, some of those folks will be out doing site surveys today to determine what strength some of those tornadoes were. As soon as we hear, we'll put that information out for you. Rain coming down there in downtown Raleigh. That's a look at Fayetteville Street. Here comes our front that will help to push a lot of that rain to the coast by this afternoon and maybe clear us out just a little bit, but briefly, because the front will begin to stall over the weekend. We'll have some afternoon and evening storms, especially from the Triangle area southward on Saturday, and we keep that chance going on Sunday as well. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see once we get past lunchtime, it's looking a lot quieter for us. The evening commute should be drier, a lot of rain closer to the coast, but the models are showing that pushing on by us, and then potentially maybe even a little bit of sunshine tomorrow morning. I wouldn't hang my hat on that, but possibly. And then after lunchtime, a few isolated showers around the evening hours, so keep that in mind if you had any outdoor plans. We saw a lot of rain, of course, yesterday. Some of the totals look like this. Hope Mills at about 7 1/4, over 6 1/2 inches at Fort Liberty, 6 1/4 in Hillsborough, and officially RDU for almost 4 1/2. And this is going to be for really the 2 to 3 day total that we saw with this storm. The rainfall for just yesterday at RDU was around 4 inches, which shattered the previous record of 2.6 set back on that date in 1928. So boy, a very heavy rainfall for us. And so that means that some of our rivers are now flooding. All the rain fell and brought up some of the smaller streams, and now all that water is moving downstream. So we have a higher level of flooding there in Lewisburg, businesses along Johnson Court, Elm and Short Streets flooding, a moderate level in Rocky Mount and Tarboro, where River Road goes underwater at that level. Minor flooding in Clayton, but major flooding for Goldsboro and Smithfield, where the water treatment plant gets cut off. And in Goldsboro, the airstrip there at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, part of it gets flooded. Just minor flooding in Lillington, and in Fayetteville, it's moderate flooding, mainly just of some fields downstream uptown. Today is a WRAL weather alert day. You still need to watch for some isolated trees falling and some places where we have a lot of water on the roads still. And then in the afternoon, Saturday and Sunday, we'll have that chance of some isolated thunderstorms. We do start to cool down next week, but I hate to tell you, it doesn't look like the humidity is going anywhere anytime soon.
Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. Brand new information out of France I can tell you about right now. Rapper Travis Scott was arrested at a Paris hotel this morning after he got into a fight with his own bodyguard. He was over there taking in some of the Olympic events, including this one yesterday. He was photographed at the U.S. versus Serbia semifinal basketball game. He was arrested at a 5-star hotel in Paris. NBC News is reporting allegedly he attacked a security guard who was attempting to break up the fight between him and his own bodyguard. And this is hours after this basketball game where he attended. He was also arrested back in June in Miami for charges of disorderly intoxication and trespassing. So far, there is no comment from the Scott camp on this latest incident.
The The summer concert season is not over yet. There are some big shows coming up this weekend in the Triangle. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has the details and Out and About's best bets. Kathy, let's start off with a big show tonight in Raleigh.
Big show. Okay, the concert season far from over, obviously. This is usually when it heats up. Tonight we've got Train and REO Speedwagon. They're playing Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. And also you've got Anthony Hamilton over at Durham Performing Arts Center. That's a really big one. And tickets are available for both of those shows.
Jeff Hogan's going to REO Speedwagon. I'm going to REO Speedwagon. It's going to be a party. I'm excited. And tomorrow night, there are 3 shows to choose from, including a tribute to Elton John, right?
It's so much fun. I love the Rocket Man show. That's actually happening over at Durham Performing Arts Center. That's a huge show. I love Elton John. It's an Elton John tribute. You've also got Maren Morris. She's over at the Ritz. She's fantastic. And then you got 311 at Red Hat Amphitheater. And it's 311 and AWOL Nation. And it's just going to be a really fun show.
Wow, some really big names. I love it. John Legend also coming to the Booth Amphitheater. An evening with John Legend will feature some of his greatest hits and also unexpected stories from his life and career. I love John Legend.
I love John Legend. It's going to be probably the biggest show, I think, of the weekend. And it's a great venue to have him out there with just his piano and just performing. Tickets are still available. I know they're not cheap, but it's John Legend, so.
No, exactly. It's worth it. I've seen John Legend live. He is absolutely worth every single penny. It's incredible. I mean, listen to him. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that, Kathy. For more on these events, just go to WRAL.com and search keyword Out and About. Kathy, thanks so much.
And has a legendary voice, right? Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will be debating on September 10th. ABC News will host that. Trump says that he has also reached agreements with NBC News and Fox News to host 2 more debates in September. Harris says that she's only agreed to the September 10th debate so far, and she'll consider another debate after that one.
New this morning, we've learned a 3rd teenager has been arrested in connection with a foiled attack on now canceled Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna, Austria. Austrian officials say an 18-year-old was taken into custody last night after allegedly being in contact with the main suspect. Investigators say the main suspect, a 19-year-old, was ready to kill himself and large numbers of people using knives and explosives. A 17-year-old, who officials say is an accomplice, was also arrested. They say he had recently taken a job providing services for the concert venue where Swift was set to play. A 15-year-old also being questioned.
With most of the effects of Debbie leaving the Triangle with widespread power outages, flooded roads, and rushing creeks, emergency teams have rescued 3 children who went into Marsh Creek while on a bike ride. Now, responders say that the lesson is to be aware and use extreme caution when waters are rising. Swells from Crabtree Creek spilled into a parking lot near Glenwood Avenue. Teams worked to remove partially submerged cars and get them to higher ground. And we even saw some people running on the Crabtree Creek Greenway despite the high water.
Whenever there's a hurricane or big tropical storm, it's always up to here. I can see it from my house. I went that way and it was a full foot of water, so I had to turn around.
Yeah, I mean, it can be dangerous. The Wake County Sheriff's Office responded to damage from Debbie in other towns too. This includes a tree blocking a road in Garner and a downed power line in Wendell.
A tree sliced through this home on Silvers Road in Raleigh. That is in the area of Lake Wheeler Road and Penny Road. And the woman who was inside was rescued and treated on the scene by EMS. And 2 giant pandas made their first public appearance at the San Diego Zoo. The pandas, named Yun Chaoan and Sing Bao, arrived from China earlier this summer. They were sent to the U.S. as a sign of friendship and are the first giant pandas to enter the country in 2 decades. The 2 are now enjoying a newly refurbished and expanded habitat. China is expected to loan pandas to other zoos in the U.S., including the National Zoo in Washington, D.C.
And before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic up next.